And are you prepared for anything that Daniel brings your way?
Yes, of course. Listen, it's a young guy. This guy wanna take my belts. I not wanna give my belts.
Daniel Dubois has just made a bold claim ahead of his rematch with Oleksandr Usyk this weekend.
Being talked about right now, but I can't wait to put him to sleep on the night. All that. I just know that on the ring, on the night, he'll be doing a funny dance in the ring when I hit him.
You believe you'll knock out Oleksandr Usyk?
Yeah.
The British heavyweight believes he's uncovered a key weakness in Usyk's defense, and he's ready to exploit it when the two face off again for the undisputed heavyweight crown. This could be the opportunity Dubois has been waiting for to take down one of boxing's most technical fighters and claim the glory that comes with being a world champion. The stage is set for a massive showdown at Wembley Stadium, London, with both fighters' titles on the line. Usyk, who already holds the WBA, WBC, and WBO titles, is defending his undisputed heavyweight status, while Dubois brings the IBF belt into the ring.
Usyk, 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 Daniel,
A year after their first meeting, Dubois is coming into the fight as the underdog, but with a renewed sense of purpose, having learned from his previous loss to Usyk. The question on everyone's mind, can Dubois pull off a stunning upset and dethrone the Ukrainian champion? Their first fight in August 2023 left many boxing fans questioning what could have been. Just moments into the 5th round, Dubois unleashed a thunderous right hook aimed directly at Usyk's body. The punch landed flush on the belt line, and Usyk immediately crumpled to the canvas, visibly in pain. However, the referee ruled it a low blow, much to Dubois' frustration. He believed the shot was clean and that the fight could have ended right there. If the referee had counted it as a knockdown, Usyk might have had no time to recover.
The shot that was called low, if the referee had started counting, would you have got to your feet?
Yes, of course. I recover. 100%. It was hard. Because my bow say me, hey Alex, whoa. So it was pain.
Despite the controversy surrounding the body shot, Dubois is convinced that he was on the verge of winning, and he hasn't lost faith in his ability to land that kind of punch again. He has stated that he believes Usyk is vulnerable to body shots, something that could be the key to his success in the rematch. Since that fight, Dubois has only gotten better. The 27-year-old has racked up impressive victories, including stoppages of Jermell Miller, Filip Hrgovic, and Anthony Joshua. His power has become more dangerous, and his confidence is higher than ever. This sense of progression is crucial for him going into the rematch with Usyk, especially considering that Usyk is not only an incredibly skilled boxer, but also a fighter with a proven track record against some of the best names in the heavyweight division.
How do you approach this fight differently this time?
Confidence, I'm ready to seize victory.
Is it about throwing the kitchen sink?
It's about getting victory, seriously, you know. I've worked hard for it and never want to cause chaos in the ring and restore it with order, with victory. So that's my that's my mindset.
Usyk, who has an impeccable record of 23 wins and no losses, has already outclassed top-tier heavyweights like Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. With victories over both men, he is seen as a modern-day heavyweight great, but despite his dominance, there are those who believe that Usyk is beginning to show signs of wear. His age, 38, and the grueling bouts he's had, particularly the exhausting back and forth with Tyson Fury, have left some questioning if he still has the energy to face a younger, stronger opponent like Dubois.
Do you think you could be getting Oleksandr at a good time? He's had 2 hard 12-round fights with Tyson Fury, obviously 38 now. Is this your time?
You could say that, but I don't want to even put it down to just him being an old man. I've got to prove myself and, you know, bring chaos in the ring. What I bring and the force I have, that will be what's needed, really. But I stand more to gain. He's at the end of his career. I stand more to gain from a win. Yeah, getting all the belts, that means, you know, that's the start for me, really.
On the other hand, Usyk is coming into this rematch as the more experienced and technically refined boxer. Known for his speed, agility, and ring IQ, Usyk has always been able to outclass opponents with his superior footwork and game plan. His ability to adapt and adjust mid-fight has made him nearly impossible to beat for any opponent, but age and wear might be catching up with him, and he can't afford to let Dubois get off with those powerful body shots. Usyk has already proved that he can handle the power of bigger fighters, but the key to defeating him may lie in consistently attacking his body and slowing down his movement.
How do you think Daniel's got to approach this fight?
He has to not get his feet moved, because Alexander's got a sense of moving around.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, he'll move this way, and then suddenly, by the time you adjust your feet, he hits you. By the time you move this side, he'll hit you again. So,
Has he got a jump on him?
Pardon?
Has he got a jump on him from the first bell?
He gotta to.
Yeah.
He has to. But if you don't, he has to. At the same time, you have to survive with him. Because if you don't, he's gonna knock you out. You lose concentration.
Has he got? I mean, has he got the engine to go down? The perspective is, and I think we think this as well, Spence. And correct me if I've misinterpreted your view on it. That he's got to get him out there in 5 or 6 rounds, and if it starts to go longer into the fights, it becomes more of a problem for him because Usyk starts to pose the problem, starts to get him working at a level that he might not be comfortable with. Does he have the engine to work at a level that Usyk takes you to?
Well, this is what he needs to do. So he has to impose himself early. He's got to stamp his authority because Oleksandr Usyk will come out, and Usyk does this every time he starts a fight. He takes the centre of the ring and he's making his opponent work, and he's feinting and flicking around, and he's keeping his opponent busy all the time, but making him work hard without actually doing anything. So Daniel has to take that away from him.
Yeah.
He's got to impose himself early, take it there. There's got to be educated pressure because Derek will know better than anyone. He's shared the ring with him. But you go in there and you make any little fundamental mistakes with Oleksandr, and then he'll make you pay.
For Dubois, the rematch represents the biggest opportunity of his career. It's not just about redemption, it's about proving to the world that he has what it takes to go to the very top. While Usyk has been dominant in the division, the time could be ripe for a new heavyweight king. Dubois' strategy will no doubt be focused on exploiting that potential weakness in Usyk's defense. If he can land those body shots early, he could wear Usyk down, making him less mobile and ultimately more vulnerable to the knockout punch. The key to victory for Dubois will be his ability to set the pace, push Usyk into uncomfortable exchanges, and prevent him from showcasing his brilliant boxing skills.
Do you feel like you've got something to prove?
Yeah, definitely. No pressure, but I've got something to prove. I need to make a statement and, yeah, all of that.
Because, look, listen, there's people going against you, of course. You've been champion for 2 fights, right? And in both those fights, you've been the underdog.
Yeah.
People always pick against Daniel Dubois, but you love that, don't you?
Yeah, it's great being an underdog, isn't it? It's great being an underdog, honestly, you know, having that bit between your teeth and then you got to come through it, and it makes it the victory even sweeter, you know?
Have you thought about that moment? That moment where the MC says, and then you.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm nearly there. It's nearly there. So, it's a few more days, a few more nights. Let's go.
John Fury, Tyson's father, has weighed in on this potential vulnerability, suggesting that Dubois may have a good chance to dethrone Usyk. According to John Fury, Usyk's age and the wear and tear from previous fights could make him more susceptible to a clean shot. Fury also believes that Dubois' recent performances should not be written off as mere setbacks. His fight with Anthony Joshua, despite the loss, showed that Dubois is still growing as a fighter.
Usyk was a lucky man. Timing was right for him. That's all I can say about that. What's done's done, but let me tell you, good luck to Oleksandr Usyk. You know, he deserves to stay champion for a long time. But again, he's going to go on too long. And I just see now Daniel Dubois becoming a multi-belt champion soon. Because how many fights you got in you? You come up from cruiserweight to heavyweight. You got these big men banging away at you. He's only got to walk into one. And the bar's up for, and he's on a good win over Anthony Joshua. He had a good fight with the American Miller. You know, and at the end of the day, I just think it's a young man's game and anything can happen, but you could well see a new champion in Wembley soon.
Teddy Atlas took a thoughtful approach when discussing the fight. He recognized Usyk's ability to withstand pressure and adapt to different situations in the ring, but he also pointed out how much Dubois has grown since their first encounter. For Atlas, this growth is not just in terms of boxing ability, but also in how Dubois has handled personal and national struggles. That maturity, he believes, could be crucial in managing the intense pressure of the rematch. However, Atlas also cautioned that whether this growth is enough to match Usyk's experience and technical prowess is still uncertain. Usyk's skill set, especially his ability to adjust on the fly, remains a formidable challenge for the Brit.
I have respect for both guys. And look, we're close to Usyk, so I'm not going to hide that. And I think a lot of both of them as men, forget about fighters, as men, I think a lot of Usyk, the man he is, what he's done really for his country, to really fight during the pressure of his country being torn apart and invaded by another country, by Russia, and to fight during those times and that going on in his country with his people, and to, like I said, just destroying what he loves, Ukraine. And I also have a lot of respect for Dubois, for the man he is and what he's become. That he fell apart in 2 fights. Yeah, different things happen, I get it, but physical things happen in the fight with Joyce, and then in the fight with Usyk, where Usyk, some people think that it should have been a punch to the body.
On the other hand, former world champion Prince Nasim Hamemed is a bit more optimistic about Dubois' chances. Hamemed pointed out that the controversial low blow Dubois landed in their first fight clearly rattled Usyk in a way that no other opponent has managed. Hamemed sees potential for Dubois to exploit this vulnerability again, but only if he can match the intensity of that moment without crossing the line. He believes that if Dubois can bring that same raw power and unpredictability to the ring, Usyk might struggle once again. The fight could come down to Dubois' ability to land a clean, decisive punch while staying within the rules, making this a dangerous match for the Ukrainian.
Do you think both of them coming off losses? It's the fight we always wanted to see as domestic boxing fans.
Yeah, I suppose that fight is right there, and everybody still wants to see it. But to be honest, we've still got Daniel Dubois. And I was sat next to Daniel Dubois.
Triple D, baby.
Triple D, baby, all day, every day. Let me just tell you this. In my eyes, for me, he's the only one. Triple D is the only one, Daniel Dubois is the only one that's ever hurt Usyk and put him down on the floor, made him think. And he was down there for like 3-4 minutes. So who's to say that once he fights Usyk again, to go out there and absolutely destroy him and bring our belts back to our country like it's supposed to be.
Johnny Nelson isn't so quick to count Usyk out. While he acknowledges that Dubois has improved since their first meeting, Nelson is confident that Usyk's experience will be the deciding factor. According to Nelson, the fight won't be determined by a single explosive punch, but rather Usyk's ability to maintain steady pressure and control the pace. Usyk's superior ring intelligence and adaptability, Nelson argues, will make it incredibly difficult for Dubois to crack his defenses. He predicts that Usyk's calculated approach will wear down the younger, less experienced fighter over the course of 12 rounds.
The heavyweight landscape is completely changed massively over the last 2 years. Oleksandr Usyk he's in a pick and plan. I'll pick him, might be 2 fights down the line, he's gone. The heavyweight landscape, they're looking for a new star, a new dominant figure. And it could involve Fabio. The boxing snob is out there winning now. Moses, wicked fighter, young fighters coming through. You look at how Daniel has obviously his confidence has come up. We'll see how he goes on against Usyk. Again, he may shock the world. So the landscape has changed, which again, it's very hard to predict tomorrow.
How much of a chance do you give Daniel Dubois in comparison to the second AJ fight, the Fury fights?
I think Daniel's performance in this fight will be better than his first fight against Usyk, but I do believe Usyk will put on a better performance and probably stop Daniel, in my opinion. Usyk has forever shown the public that Let me blueprint your download your blueprint, and I've got your number. He beat Tyson better the second time. He beat AJ better the second time, and both fighters boxed better the second time around. So the only thing Daniel's got now, he's got unbelievable self-belief and confidence that's come since their last fight. So again, we'll just see what's changed.
Dave Allen, a heavyweight who sparred with Usyk, agrees with Nelson's take on Usyk's technical skills. Allen sees Usyk's boxing IQ as the key to victory, but he also acknowledges that Dubois is a much different fighter now than he was during their first encounter. Dubois is no longer just a puncher looking to land a big shot. He's more disciplined and thoughtful in the ring. Allen believes this evolution will make the fight much tougher for Usyk than their previous matchup. It's clear that Dubois has improved both mentally and physically, and his improvements will surely test Usyk's ability to adapt more than ever before.
I think Dubois is going to beat him. That's my early prediction. I know a lot of people will obviously fancy Usyk, and rightfully so. And as much as I like Dubois and think he's getting better and all the rest of it, I'd like to see Usyk win. I think Usyk's a great fella and a great fighter, but I think Dubois will win.
Jermell Big Baby Miller, who fought Dubois in a notable matchup, raised another critical point regarding Usyk's physical condition. Miller speculated that the toll from Usyk's previous battles, particularly the grueling fights with Tyson Fury, might have taken a toll on his body. He questioned whether Usyk has lost any of his sharpness and whether this could give Dubois an opening. While Miller acknowledges Dubois' growth as a fighter, he believes Usyk's age and the wear and tear from past fights could be factors that play in Dubois' favor.
I think he's definitely graduated since our fight. Can Dubois pull it off? I think he definitely can. It depends on how much Usyk has in the tank, if he can outwit Dubois. I think it's a great fight regardless. And you know, the best man is gonna win. You know what I mean? I want my rematch with Dubois. I'm gonna up, you know. But it's weird, man. Dubois is the only person that can make me want to hate him and then like him, like literally within 30 seconds of my brain, like I want to kill this mother. I like Dubois. You know what I mean? It's weird. You know, he's one of the only fighters that actually do that to me. But I realized that if you actually meet Dubois and talk to him, there's a reason why you have that love-hate sympathy with him. You know what I'm trying to say? So, all power to Dubois. You know what I mean? Hopes he pulls it off in many ways and give him a goddamn rematch.
Joe Rogan has also been vocal in his praise for Dubois. Rogan believes that the Brit's rise through the heavyweight ranks, particularly his dominant performance against Anthony Joshua, makes him a legitimate threat to Usyk. His raw strength and hunger for success, Rogan argues, are qualities that could push him to new heights in the rematch. This belief in Dubois' potential adds fuel to the growing belief that the young fighter could very well pull off an upset.
He's only like 27, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's coming into it. That guy's scary. He's dangerous.
And you know, the interesting thing is that in at least the press in the UK, they didn't give him a hope. Everybody was talking about, you know, like when Joshua gets Dubois out of the way, then we can move on to the next fight, and this is a fight that we want to see.
It seems like Joshua believed that going into that fight. It seems like he believed that he was just going to dominate him.
Yeah, and he just got ruthlessly exposed. The power of Dubois I remember I bought into it. I was like, okay, so I'll watch it, but you know, this is going to be a stepping stone match. It wasn't a stepping stone.
Aggression too, man. He was so aggressive. He was just in the pocket constantly, just forcing Joshua to go to war. It was wild.
Yeah, and it rapidly became apparent that Joshua couldn't match him. He just couldn't go to war with him. And at the end, this showed what the fight was like. Everybody was like, look, to Joshua, I think you're done. And nobody predicted
Isn't that crazy?
that.
Right after he knocks out Francis Ngannou, and everyone's like, you're back.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, he flattened Francis Ngannou, and everyone's like, oh, Joshua's back. Look how good he looked.
Yeah.
Ruthless game, man.
Adam Booth, who has worked closely with Dubois, also offered insight into his evolution as a fighter. Booth explained that Dubois, once known for his more traditional and straightforward fighting style, has now developed a more modern and tactical approach. He's become more focused, more disciplined, and has honed his skills in a way that makes him a much more dangerous opponent. With this newfound mental and physical growth, Booth believes that Dubois is ready to take on the best, and Usyk is certainly no exception.
How do you see this one, Adam, playing out?
Different to the first one. I can make much more of an argument for Dubois in this fight.
Me too.
Firstly, because he actually had success in the first fight.
He did. Do you think it was a low blow?
No.
No.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
You do think it was a low blow?
Absolutely was. If you look,
You do?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, sorry, you caught me out then with the question. If you watch, it lands low, and while it's got contact with the shorts, it actually rides up at the point of impact.
So I've no use to my argument.
But it's irrelevant because they're going to fight again. Usyk won the first time, and as he said, he won by stoppage. But Daniel Dubois is a different fighter now. Fighting is 90% mental, and he is a completely different fighter mentally. He lets his hands go with freedom. He now trusts his engine because he had those rounds with Jermell Miller that tested his engine. So he's kind of ticked the little boxes along the way, old school style.
Chris Algieri highlighting Dubois' recent momentum. Algieri pointed out that Dubois is no longer just fighting for revenge. He's a much more polished, confident, and battle-tested contender. His victories over fighters like Jermell Miller and Anthony Joshua have shown that he's refined his game and is now a more complete fighter. Algieri sees this as a serious threat to Usyk, who will have to deal with the new improved version of Dubois this time around.
The narrative is much better for the Dubois rematch. You've got the fact that they fought, and then since then Dubois has been on a tear, beating guys that he was the underdog against, Ergovich, and then Anthony Joshua, of course. You know, the guy has like really revamped his entire career, turned it around, gone from a guy that people saw as a quitter to being potentially the most dangerous man in the world. So you've got this narrative now that Dubois is a different guy, so this rematch will be different. Also, you have the fact that Usyk, in the ring after his win over Tyson Fury, Dubois came into the ring, challenged him, and Usyk said, Your Excellency, Turkey, make the fight with Dubois. He's a man of his word. That guy says something, there's a good chance it's going to happen. So I believe the narrative is there, you know, for this fight, obviously, and this is one of the reasons why it's being made.
As the rematch draws nearer, it's clear that both fighters have their strengths, and the debate over who will come out on top continues to divide experts. While Usyk's technical brilliance, adaptability, and experience make him a tough challenge for any fighter, Dubois' power, growth, and newfound discipline give him a legitimate chance to claim the heavyweight throne. The question is, which fighter will be able to impose their will on the other, and whether Dubois' improvements will be enough to overcome Usyk's masterful ring craft. One thing's for sure, this rematch promises to be a captivating spectacle, and the stakes couldn't be higher.